back right here on AxXiom for Liberty on the Logos Radio Network with Kaye Beach, and I am Houchen. And we are just very shortly, we're going to get back to David Love and Colin Henderson, but I kind of gave you the background on the situation of Narconon coming into, especially now, trying to come into one of the rural school districts, it appears. But before I do that, I want to read a statement about this issue that is from Lucas Catton. Now, we had Lucas on with Colin and David a couple of months ago. Lucas used to be the president of Narconon Arrowhead. He is now the ex-president of Narconon Arrowhead. And he left and he authored the book. And Kaye, you're going to have to remind me what the title of the book.
I'll step in. It's "Have You Told All?" ?
Yeah, have you told all? And the statement from Lucas. Now, Lucas is receiving just a tremendous amount of pressure from the Church of Scientology because he did leave. He did tell all. And the statement from Lucas on this is, quote, "A large portion of staff at Narconon Arrowhead truly believe they are doing good things and are unaware of the level of Scientology indoctrination they are involved in. This would include their current drug education presentations provided by Nico Bain. Despite the good intentions of some of these individuals, the fact still remains that they are forwarding the aims of Scientology by participating in the organization and are therefore being deceptive and fraudulent on a daily basis." Now, one thing he does point out is that Narconon uses drug education primarily for public relations purposes, to get letters of support from schools and make friends throughout the state. They also always provide the presentations to schools for free. The amount of L. Ron Hubbard information used in Narconon drug education lectures is used for the purpose of spreading Hubbard's words and more subtle indoctrination in his writings. So Lucas Catton, the ex-president of Narconon Arrowhead, specifically mentions that they are being deceptive and fraudulent on a daily basis. Now, Colin or David, whichever one of you want to address this right on, why does Narconon, why do they feel like we need to get into schools?
Well, they get into schools for a few reasons. One is they have to. It's the L. Ron Hubbard tech. They have to create stats or uplines, the hierarchy, and also it is for public relations. L. Ron Hubbard said to create safe points in the community so that they could be social betterment groups in the view of the community, and it makes them look good. Narconon being 100% Scientology, they obey the tech, every day. So when they get into these schools, they are creating statistics that they can use and send uplines. And also, they go into these schools right from elementary, junior high, and high school because they know that when they speak to they've spoken to tens and tens of thousands of students. But they know for every 1,000 students they speak to, there's going to be a percentage of those students who will take their pamphlets home with a little 1-800-NARCONON number on the back, and they know that maybe 1 out of 5 houses will have drug addiction problems in the house, and there's a good chance that they'll phone Narconon for help. So if they even pull 1 or 2 out of each 30-person classroom, that's $60,000 for every talk they give to only 30 students. And when you add up these numbers, you're talking tens of millions of dollars that Narconon can bring in and then funnel up through to the Church of Scientology. And I have documents proving how they do funnel it up. I haven't released them all yet. We have to say it for the Human Rights Commission trial, but it's amazing. The numbers are staggering how much money they make. But it's a very dangerous thing they're doing too, because what they teach is the tone scale. And, they don't teach all of the tone scale down into the discriminatory stuff, where people below 2 on the tone scale or below 1 or 1.0 should be done away with without sorrow or remorse. In other words, killed. They teach discrimination against homosexuals. Now, they don't teach that, but they teach the tone scale. So if a young child...
What is the tone scale?
The tone scale is a scale that L. Ron Hubbard created. And it's basically, I think it goes from 0 up to 40. Okay, if you're at tone 40, or tone 4, you're enthusiastic and happy, and but if you're down lower, like say 2, you're in anger and stuff like this, and it keeps going down. That's how he classifies human beings. It's incredible. So this is what he teaches. This is what each lecture is taught in the schools, the tone scale. Okay, and it's a very dangerous thing because
it sounds like a religious teaching. It doesn't sound like a scientific.
It's a Scientology religious doctrine. That's one of the main things that Scientology is based on. Now, if a child goes to the internet after and looks up tone scale, they're going to be able to read all this stuff that wasn't taught in the school. And that's what they're hoping for, too.
I looked at the manual, one of the manuals that they had for the outline of teaching their presentations in school. And the first thing that occurred to me, okay, drugs are bad. Okay, we get that. Drugs are bad. They are. But they were teaching, I took physiology in college, okay? They were teaching stuff that was, frankly, unscientific and baloney. And, just as we're careful, and look, I'm a parent. I don't have any problem with you teaching the biology and function of the body and procreation, all that. I get a little bit hinky when people that may have vastly differing worldviews want to come in and teach, quote, sex education with my child. Everybody should be a little careful about that. The same thing with drug education. We all agree drugs bad, shouldn't do drugs, don't do drugs. But they're adding a lot of stuff to it, and you can't miss the point here. The point is, why are they in the schools? They are trying to gain recruits for their religion, and recruits mean what? Money. That I have looked into this far enough to tell you that so-called religion is all about money. It was started that way. It was developed that way to take advantage of people, to make them dependent in some way, and to get their money.
That's right. And whenever they're talking to the students, one of the most important things, they never separate the difference between illicit drugs and Tylenol. They all drugs are bad, all drugs are bad, all drugs are bad. That's what they drill into these lectures.
That's what my son told me. He said, because I said, is this an anti-drug thing? What was the topic? And he was very specific. And this was corroborated later. It was the effects drugs have on your body. He was very specific about that.
Yes.
So it wasn't illicit drugs.
And they're all the same, too. I mean, no matter what, like you said, no matter what illicit drug or any chemical, they're all the same. By the way, Tylenol, it really is dangerous. It's really bad for your liver. You should be very careful with Tylenol. A lot of people die from that. But they don't differentiate.
No, not at all.
They treat them all the same. And they actually gave some descriptions of the effects of drugs that were absolutely wrong.
Yeah.
Everything's a stimulant at some level, and then everything is a depressant at another, and that's just not true.
Yeah, it's not true at all. And one of the main things that they always teach in these at these lectures at schools and abroad at Boys and Girls Clubs, at your local YMCA, is that some of these drugs are stored in your fat cells. That is absolutely not.
Well, that's why you got to sweat it out, right?
That is not true. And they keep on preaching that. That's just what they keep pushing. And that is so far from the scientific
and so the
facts.
point is that the schools need to be, and Howard, you said that your school completely got caught off guard. They got duped.
And yeah, without a doubt. And, I mean, look, I know the superintendent of schools. I've known her for 40 years. She's not going to lie to me. She did not know. Now, the principal of the junior high, when she approached the superintendent with this, she didn't even mention Narconon. But, I've talked with Colin, I've talked with David, and that they've got a sweet, real nice, warm and fuzzy presentation that they come forward with. I know that a lot of people would want to place blame, and they should have done a background or, at least some research. It wasn't done. But the fact of the matter is that Narconon is very slick at this. They do it day in and day out. And Colin and Dave are going to talk about this. But, y'all, we're about to go to break. But one thing I want you to think about while we're going, when we go to break and we come out of it, I want you to address is that, Narconon is being, they're becoming more and more known for really what they're about. They've been kicked out of schools in Oklahoma, and now they're trying to pick on, I think, these rural schools. And I want to get y'all's thoughts on that. And eventually the well's going to run dry for these guys. They may be at the bottom of it now. But talk about why they're going now to these rural school districts instead of the big ones, because they aren't allowed. But then from that, we'll run out of time. And from that, we're going to go to something else. But folks, you're listening to AxXiom for Liberty. We're going to be right back after this.